Well, hey, hope everybody's having a good weekend. Everybody was been working for the weekend, and now here we are. And I've got a very special guest here tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to him to introduce himself first, and then I'll introduce myself for those who are interested, and then we'll get going here. So this is the one, the only, the Andy B. Tell them about yourself, man.
Hey everybody. Well, this has been a long time coming. We've been trying to schedule this thing for literally months, but I work a lot. My full-time job is obviously not YouTube. It is doing other things outside of making silly videos on the internet and having fun with my friends on the internet. But I'm so glad to finally be here to talk to you about why I think the GameCube is an amazing console and why you're absolutely wrong in thinking that it's not.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm really excited because I know you call this liquored up and live. I don't plan on getting too messed up, but I do have some liquor. I've got some Traverse City whiskey.
Holy shit,
I
that
have,
looks good. Put
because
that back
this
up
is
again,
a
real
true
quick.
statement. What? I'm the best dad ever. I'm gonna drink out of that mug. What?
Oh, put that back up. That whiskey, that looks amazing.
Oh, the whiskey or the mug?
The
Here's the
whiskey, well,
whiskey.
both, but the whiskey. Okay, so Traverse City whiskey.
Yeah, it's straight bourbon whiskey. It's 43%,
Holy
aged
shit.
in new American oak barrels for 4 years or more.
Okay.
My wife bought it for us. We were gonna make whiskey sours. It's pretty good. So now I'm just gonna have some while we chat
Okay,
about
well, I
video
am
games.
going to select a Blanton's then, since we're doing bourbon tonight. We get the fucking Blantons out, because yeah, that's exciting. A new whiskey, that is amazing. A new bourbon that I've not heard of. I'm very excited now. So, all
I'm
right.
excited too.
So now I am I go by many names here on the internet, such as who the fuck does he think he is? But we'll stick with the name that you all know me by. I go by Zoo mainly, Mungo Zoo or Zoo. Been kicking around the internet a while. I'm an old man in actual fucking internet years. And I guess I'll just read. I guess always it's always best to let the critics speak for you. So I've got the following. I've been called a, let's see, we got strange internet ghost, the last cool kid on the internet, a dread harbinger, a physical caveman. I'm not 6'1". That's very important. Not 6'1", unlike some Giga Chad, pussy slaying gamers out there. And I'm a
Hold
faceless
on.
fuck.
I'm 6'1", by
You
the
are
way.
6'1". Okay.
I'm
Well,
just saying that
well,
now.
well. I am told I am not 6'1". So that's very important. Very important. Especially if you're the Giga Chad. He knows who he is. Like, call me, buddy. Um. So yeah. So I guess to get into this, how to start this. So yeah. I come at this, I guess, from a position of, I'm talking old school gamer. I think you probably were too. So I come at this like from the NES side scrolling action games perspective, like a lot of like Mega Man, Castlevania, Contra, Mario, 2D Mario. Um, and gaming was a very exciting thing for me all the way through like the SNES, Genesis. I didn't think it could ever get fucking better than that. And then the N64 shows up, and the PlayStation shows up, and we ended up getting a N64. We had Shadows of the Empire, which was cool, granted, and got 3D Mario 64, which was cool, granted. And but I can't remember thinking. I always told people, I'm like, I can't wait to see what they actually do with my 2D Mario on the fucking N64. Of course, never ended up getting that. That worked out real great. And so, if the N64 was like the moon, the GameCube to me was like another galaxy. It was every franchise I ever knew and loved seemed to be being twisted and getting this ghastly Buffalo Bill reskinning into something else. Like what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this Mario game? And what the fuck does this window washing game have to do with Mario? What the fuck
Hey,
is Star Fox doing running around doing fucking puzzles with a magic staff? What the fuck is this weird Kirby thing with star writing and shit. Like, what the fuck does this bongo game have to do with Donkey Kong? Like, that's kind of where it was at. And again, I'm not necessarily saying they were bad games, but they certainly, but the market certainly fucking spoke on it. And to point this out, you would think I ran over some people's goofy ass dogs when I point this out. So market didn't like it. I didn't like it. Doesn't necessarily mean it was a bad system, but it certainly was not a successful system. And I think it was unsuccessful. Part of this is, some of this might be bias, but I think it was unsuccessful for some of the same reasons that that I didn't jump in. Now, keep in mind that PlayStation didn't win me over either. You didn't see me having the DVD player. You didn't see me having that fucking giant monstrosity Xbox. Although we did, Halo was fun, granted. But in general, you didn't see me with any of those either. Like, I basically set that whole generation out. So to be fair, if Nintendo wasn't cooking with it, neither was anybody else at the time. Although again, I'm told that how can you be a gamer and not have a DVD player? I managed somehow. So, I will give you an opportunity now to kind of just go over and tell me why I'm wrong. Although supposedly I've got a game sitting here right now that is going to teach me a lesson, and that's Mario the 1,000-Year Door. And so I'll be starting that this weekend.
Yes. So, okay, this isn't just going to be me defending, obviously, the GameCube. I guess now I got to defend the PS2 and even the Xbox, the original OG Xbox. Like, I wasn't expecting this. How can you sit there and even say that those consoles weren't that great? I mean, I know, granted, you said you sat that generation out, essentially. But, like, there's so many games that are great. Like, especially for, like, couch co-op games, like Soul Calibur 2, and then all three of them had different versions that had different characters. GameCube had Link, the Xbox had Spawn, and then the PS2 had someone from Tekken, I think. I don't know. I wasn't really a big PlayStation guy besides my PS1.
Well, that's kind of cool.
But like,
so each game had a different playable character?
Yes, and Soul Calibur 2. It was amazing. Link on the GameCube version was unbelievable. The combos you could chain using his bombs, his bow and arrow, just kind of like in Melee. Like, he was amazing. But I mean, dude, think about the Xbox. We've got games like Gauntlet Dark Legacy, one of my favorite little couch like co-op dungeon crawling experiences of my childhood. Now, I guess maybe this generation of gaming is special to me in my heart because it did signify a time in my life where I really got into gaming. I grew up with divorced parents. They got a divorce when I was like months old. I have no memory of them together. And there was one year for Christmas, my brother and I were like, okay, how do we get a GameCube? Right? We want a GameCube. He knew more about it than I did. So he was like, here's the thing. You ask, I probably don't remember exactly verbatim who I asked, but he was like, you ask mom, I'll ask dad. And guess what? We got 2 GameCubes. You know what I mean? And like, so I guess a lot of this is going to be nostalgia based for me. If you look at the library of GameCube games, like I know you mentioned some of them already, like Mario Sunshine. Okay, fine. You can have that one. It was Nintendo being Nintendo. They were trying to innovate. They were trying to do new things, bring in new customers, stuff like that. But look at like Wave Race. That game was awesome on the GameCube. I know a lot of people really liked the Nintendo 64 one, myself included, but the GameCube one just expanded on everything from the 64 version with updated graphics, and you can't deny. I know you missed out on that generation, whatever, but you cannot deny how
Oh no.
is awesome. And
there you go. Okay.
I don't know, man.
But like, we kind of lost you for a second.
1,000-Year Door obviously is a fantastic game, but that's not even like, to me personally, in like the top 10 best GameCube games.
Okay.
I do have a list of them up. That's neither here nor there with how many they sold and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's just, I feel like the GameCube was what led us to so many of the best games that we have to this day. I know that, everything started NES, SNES, stuff like that, side scrolling. We had Zelda, Metroid, Mario, the staples. But GameCube was what really, in my personal opinion, took these games and brought them to life with 3D. And it's just evolved and expanded from there. I just,
It
Zoo, you're
definitely.
crazy. I just,
Well, it definitely was the first generation that didn't have what I like to call the clunky 3D, for sure.
yes.
N64 and PlayStation were fucking rough, and it's really, really rough. Um, in fact, I kind of think that, honest to God, the DVD player GameCube generation was essentially that. So I love to share a graph. I shared it with OJ a couple nights ago, and basically what the graph
Which, hold
showed.
on, let me interject. Hold on. The fact that I'm following OJ, the fact that you were able to get him on there, props, by the way, that is awesome. It's cool that he did that. And it's awesome that you guys were able to have a conversation. Unfortunately, I did miss it. I am sorry.
No, you're good.
But the fact that you still had him on there is just awesome to me.
Yeah, that's his third time on. Yeah, he's a regular, which you will be too. But yeah, he's pretty regular anymore. But yeah, cool guy. Um, cool guy. A lot of great debates on there, and he's on your side on this one, by the way. Yeah, definitely on your side. And I feel like I feel like a vast majority of people have come around to GameCube. And here's the thing: slowly but surely, I am too. I played Metroid Prime. I have nothing negative to say about that game. Um,
Okay, good.
Not really. The most I can muster is a grumpy old man. What is this backtracking shit? But it is so fucking minor compared to what is on offer there that it. I I feel like I feel like I'm Stretch Armstrong in that, just to even say that's a
Yeah.
problem, like literally. And it seemed that, according to Rush Dog, that's kind of a problem that's endemic with the entire generation. Nintendo did a lot of backtracking there, apparently. But yeah, so you mentioned nostalgia, and to be fair to you, I think that no matter what person is talking, I think nostalgia is going to come into play. Like, here I am venerating fucking crusty ass 816-bit games, right? So I definitely think that there is a position to be had there. Um, my typical response in terms of, when people talk about how great or lack thereof a system is to kind of look at the market at the time. And so,
Okay.
you know, um, I don't necessarily think so. Now, to be fair, I don't necessarily think Sony's dominance can be chalked up to, oh, look at all these great games, because I don't think that was true, especially for the first few years. Again, not being there, but it looked to me like a lot of Sony's early success pre Grand Theft Auto 3 was the DVD player. It was
Absolutely,
it was the
100%.
yeah, it was the cheapest DVD player in the room. I don't necessarily think people were fucking buying that for the games. So I don't, until GTA 3 comes along, I don't really see that as being devastating to Nintendo's market share. I just don't. Now, in terms of Xbox, brand new system, never made a profit, never fucking made a profit, that the Xbox division. So that's not necessarily the problem either. So the question is, why did we have such a drop off from the um from the SNES to the N64, which I think you can explain in some part due to the PlayStation. I think that's explainable. But then
Yeah.
what the fuck happened with the GameCube? I guess is what I'm looking at. And the only thing I can pinpoint is, and to me, a system lives or dies by its games. If people like the games, the system will do well. If people don't like the games, the system won't do well. And so all I can do is look at Window Washer Mario, Bongo Kong. Nope, not hitting it for the market. Puzzle Chore Time Star Fox. Nope, not hitting it for the market. Although, to be fair, Barry came on here and gave a very compelling reason for why that Star Fox game looked the way it looked. And so I definitely want to talk about that tonight, because Barry might have thrown me some information on that that makes me look a little gentler on it. Wind Waker, which at the time everybody bitched about the graphics. I have no
Yeah.
problem with the graphics. I think the graphics are pretty timeless, honestly, on that game. My issues with Wind Waker are completely a different set of issues. Um, Metroid Prime, you've got Smash Brothers as bright spots. Some of the sports games did pretty well sales wise for the system, but in general, you had an absolute just sweep, and you've got so what do you have? You have a brand new system that, while having one game that really took off, um, wasn't really a threat to anything in Nintendo's market share, and you've got a DVD player that didn't really get its momentum going gaming wise until GTA 3, and yet still the GameCube couldn't take 30 million copies, despite population growth between the N64 and the GameCube at the end of each lifespan. So I don't know if it wasn't the games, what the fuck happened there? I guess would be my question.
Okay, I've got a pretty good. I'm feeling cocky. In my personal opinion, I think a big thing with it is you got to kind of look at the time frame as well. I mean, you mentioned a lot of really great games, right? And one in particular that I want to bring up is Wind Waker. I remember. I'm kind of showing my age a little bit. I'll be 32 this year. Okay, so my first console, really, honestly, was Sega, the Sega Genesis, and then it was the Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
That's when I finally got introduced to Nintendo. I grew up playing the NES and the SNES. Don't get me wrong, and I've obviously since gone back and played them, whatever. But Ocarina of Time, Nintendo 64, right? What an amazing, groundbreaking game. It was this dark and just wonderfully, the story was written so wonderfully, and the game was so good, all these things. And then you get the previews and trailers for Wind Waker, completely different art style, right? And it threw everyone for a loop. I remember when Wind Waker was coming out and seeing it in like gaming magazines and watching X Play and, poor Adam Sessler, rest in peace.
Oh, dude.
But what a fall from grace. I digress. But just seeing the discourse and like me being a kid when it was coming out, I'm like, I think this looks awesome. I was genuinely excited. I will honestly say Wind Waker was the first Zelda game that really piqued my interests. I played Ocarina of Time and I had beaten it and I thought it was great, but Wind Waker, there was just something about it that really captured, I don't know, something in me. I'm not exactly sure, but I can understand from like, at the time, people just going like, what is this? Because look at the market too. Like everything was kind of growing up, I guess you could say a little bit. Like you look at the PlayStation 2, it had, the games tackled darker themes, it had different style of gaming, things like that. And the GameCube, if you look back at a lot of the games, they were kind of like kiddie games, like, I mean, you had Smash Brothers, which is Melee to this day is still one of the best next to Ultimate. But then you had like Mario Kart Double Dash, which it has cutesy kind of graphics, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it had a big emphasis on the multiplayer, being able to switch back and forth between the two characters on your cart. You had Sunshine, which, was such a departure from the 64. You have this little tiny water pack on you. You have Luigi's Mansion. It's the first Luigi game. Luigi was, Luigi at the time. He wasn't what he is now. And then you have Paper Mario, again, going back to these kiddie themes. Nintendo seemed more for children, right? And at the time of the PlayStation 2 and even the Xbox, gaming, like I said, was starting to mature. You mentioned Grand Theft Auto 3 and stuff like this. Like these games really started to come out, and gamers being in, their late teens to early 20s, they didn't, and especially back then, they wanted to be alpha males and all these different things. And guys weren't just openly talking about how much they love anime and, fuck, for crying out loud, dude, in my mid-20s, I had a Hatsune Miku poster just in my living room, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. You don't care. No. All of us, we don't care anymore. Like, it's, for crying out loud, it's 2024. But 20 years ago, the culture and landscape was completely different. We were growing up with music like Blink-182 and all these punk bands and stuff like that. Everything wasn't as kiddie. Now, granted, there were some mature titles on the GameCube. Obviously, we have Resident Evil 4 for crying out loud, and then eventually Twilight Princess. But Twilight Princess was also put, on the Wii. It was a launch title with the Wii, but both Resident Evil games, and then look at the Final Fantasy game that came out on the GameCube. We have Crystal Chronicles, which is a great game, but then the PS2 had Final Fantasy X. You know what I mean? So it's just the sad truth is, though the games were there and they were great games, the gamers themselves wanted a much more mature game. And the writing is just, it's right there. The proof is in the pudding, because none of these games speak to the gamer of that generation. That's why people like myself, who was younger, gravitated more towards stuff like this, like Wind Waker, the artsy fartsy graphics and stuff like that. I remember reading in like Game Informer and like Nintendo Power, people are like, "Oh, this game's for girls. It's for
sure.
women."
Yeah, they were.
You know what I mean?
They were.
Yeah, exactly. So there's all these negative connotations. But nowadays, look at Pokemon. Like, for example, the remakes of Diamond and Pearl, they were chibi figures, and they went on to be some of the best selling Pokemon games ever. Now, that's a different conversation for a different day. I understand Pokemon's fan base is huge.
Well,
the game's been out forever.
And keep in mind that Nintendo, like this is, I mean, Nintendo has always done this. Like Nintendo stated mission, they make games ages 5 to 95, right?
Yeah.
They kind of want to reach everybody. So I guess my question is, this was this way in the NES, the SNES, the N64, the GameCube, the Wii, which was very successful despite having these same stigmas. And then you had the Wii U, which we don't talk about the Wii U. But because the Wii U, more than even the GameCube, the Wii U is where it really kind of fell apart for Nintendo. And I have my theories on that too. Don't I have theories on everything? But it just seems like so I guess the question is, and I'm not necessarily saying this is incorrect, but you think the zeitgeist of that particular time, gamers growing up, kind of getting into like, dude bro culture, which could be, I could see that, because I was there, and there was some of that for sure. 100%. I'll tell you, like, part of not being into console gaming was, in fact, that there, in that period, it was high school, starting to get into growing up a little bit, and you don't necessarily want the girlfriend to see the Mario poster on the wall. That's
right, exactly. So, that's what I'm saying. It's weird to think how different the culture of gaming has changed in the society that we live in, because now it's like it's cool to be into gaming. Not to kind of derail a little bit, but it kind of plays in
the exact other obvious problem.
So one example that I love to bring up is, I was bullied in middle school and high school for bringing my Game Boy Advance SP to school, playing Pokemon, playing Final Fantasy IV, stuff like that. And then that was middle school. And then high school, I had my DS and I was playing Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver, other games and stuff like that. I was literally bullied. Like, people were like, "Oh, you nerd, you're playing Pokemon? That's so stupid. You're such a child." No, I unfortunately didn't. I did not. I didn't become that person until I was much older. But I remember 2016. Okay, and I'm sure you remember this as well when I bring it up. But Pokemon Go was one of the biggest things to ever happen to us as a society. And I remember in my hometown walking around downtown playing and seeing all those motherfuckers, all right, that were sitting there talking shit to me, playing Pokemon Go. And that was when I was like, "Listen here, bucko." Because at that point, I had grown up and I didn't care. I was kind of like in shape. I was jacked a little bit.
Hey, I thought
and I was like,
nerd shit, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Shit.
So
what you doing? About to walk off a fucking dock playing Pokemon Go.
Exactly. But that's what I'm talking about. the gaming culture has changed so much, and the bro zeitgeist was there back then, dude, when the GameCube came out. I
That's
don't know.
fair.
Is
Yeah, no, I do think that that's fair. I don't think it explains it entirely, but no one
no, no,
explanation.
no,
But
no, no.
my explanation also doesn't explain it entirely. So I mean, it's any failure is going to be a multifaceted thing.
Absolutely, 100%.
And again, from what I've tried, Resident Evil 4, which again, God, nothing really bad you can say about that game. Um,
Yeah.
Metroid Prime, and here I am getting ready to try Paper Mario, which people assure me is going to be like one of my games of the forever. So I'll have more to report on that probably here later on this weekend. Very excited for that. I'm excited. Here's what I'm excited for. So people always talk about like, well, Zoo, if you don't like GameCube, why are you so excited for these GameCube remakes? It's because I'm not the only fucking gamer in the world, guys. There's other people too,
Yeah.
and
Oh man.
like so one of the things I always like to bring up is Wind Waker. It's like, yeah, I want Wind Waker to get a release on the I want it to get a release on the Switch for two reasons. Number one, there are genuinely about 2 to 5 million people who adore that style of Zelda. And that is not
Mhm.
an unsizable group of people. Now,
Yeah.
compared to what Zelda can do, it's pretty minuscule. But in the grand scheme of things, like if you asked any other game publisher on the fucking planet, hey, would you be happy with 2 to 4 million sales? They'd say, fuck yeah. So there's no
Mm.
reason not to do that game. Just give people their Anuba Zelda. Number two, we can finally, if it goes to the Switch and it does 2 to 4 million copies, like I know it will do, we can finally put this shit to bed. And that's what I'm excited to do in terms of old school Zelda versus a Numa Zelda. We can finally put it to bed and say, okay, both games sell well enough to be made, but one game clearly sells better. So I've got a
Yeah.
lot of interest in GameCube games coming on. Fuck, bring Bongo Kong, bring that fucking thing over here. Like
Oh my
Jay.
gosh, please.
Oh gosh, yeah. I'll never forget fucking Jay from Cold Nights being like, "Yeah, we're streaming Bongo Kong tonight just for Zoo." It's like, oh. And apparently I learned something that night, which was that there are actually two Bongo Kong games. So okay,
Yes.
so you have the actual platformer Bongo Kong, and then you've got the Bongo Kong that I remember seeing, and that was the Bongo rhythm game. And that's why when I saw it, I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with Donkey Kong? What the fuck are you doing, Nintendo? Well, lo and behold, I didn't know there was this whole other fucking game that was actually a Donkey Kong platform.
Yeah.
Same. They kind of did that with Star Fox too, because I learned that there was a Star Fox Assault that was on the GameCube.
Yeah.
That was the traditional Star Fox game, and then they also did the Dinosaur Planet. They Buffalo Bill reskinned Dinosaur Planet. You know,
Yeah, well, that wasn't even supposed to be a Star Fox game to begin with. That was a rare title, but
yes,
Miyamoto was like, he slaps Star
yeah,
Fox in
that's what
there.
Miyamoto always does. What he always fucking does, and I
Yeah, why
hate it.
not?
I hate it so much, and here's why. So you already have a Star Fox game. Like that makes it all the more goddamn frustrating. I remember being as an investor on the Wii and being furious about this on the Wii because they did it with Kirby. They had a game in development called Fluff of Yarn, right? Brand new IP, starred Prince Fluff. Different gameplay style. And about midway through development, they decide, yeah, you know what? We're not confident in this. We're not confident in our developers. We're not confident in this IP. It's time to take that. We need a Kirby game for the system. Never fucking mind. There was already a Kirby game that was actually in development. It was Kirby's Return to Dreamland. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and skin this game. And we're going to dress Kirby up in it. And we're going to call it Kirby's Epic Yarn. And I remember, and by the way, this was a good game. Kirby's
It
Epic
was a
Yarn
great game.
it was a good game. But imagine if Nintendo had taken a fucking chance and put out Fluff of Yarn, and that was a good game too. And imagine had it sold, they would have had another IP on their hands instead of
Yeah.
just having no fucking confidence in their junior development teams and fucking stepping in. And Nintendo they want to have their cake and they want to eat it too. They want the safety and security of an established IP, and yet they also want the creativity and the freedom of a new IP. And you
Oh yeah.
see them do this all the time where they should. And by the way, look at Billy Pikmin. Look at the way Pikmin finally popped off with Pikmin 4. Pikmin
Yeah.
finally became undeniable. Like nobody can shit on. I can't shit on Pikmin anymore because Pikmin came out like a badass motherfucker and did 4 million sales. Um, right, crazy amounts on the Switch. Look at Luigi's Mansion, 12. It might be at like 13 million sales now. Luigi's Mansion popping off, giving Luigi a gameplay identity. Now you've got it going on with Princess Peach. Princess Peach has a gameplay identity that's not running around crying and shit.
Yeah.
Like she was. I hear tell there's another Princess Peach game, and it's not a game that Nintendo likes to revisit and talk about, because it apparently portrays Peach in some very, let's just say, some very early 2000s ways.
Oh, for sure.
Now as a '90s kid, like I've probably seen far worse, but the 2000s
Yeah, same.
was 2000s was not a gamer. Put it this way: gamers in the cultural climate of today would be appalled. They would be appalled at us back then.
Yeah.
And the
Real
shit
quick,
that our generation got up to.
you were right about Luigi's Mansion, 14.25 million, by the way.
Jeez. No, that's a new
Yeah.
star, folks. That's a new star.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that got its gameplay identity on the GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
That game, and again, that's the kind of thing I like, because now, like, not only do you sort of still have the established IP with Mario, but you get to explore a new character and you get to give that character his own gameplay identity. They did it with
Exactly.
Captain Toad. Fuck, Captain Toad got a fucking gameplay
Yeah.
identity before Peach did, a real
I
gameplay
know.
identity. Fucking yeah, because, and by the way, I always tie that back in. Like, if you look at Captain Toad and the way he can't jump and the way he's slow and the way he throws vegetables, it's literally it's as close to Mario Brothers 2 as we're ever gonna fucking get, man.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
In the Arabian landscape, the because they use the Arabian Nights as the inspiration for that. Super fucking cool. So there's ways to do it, and there's ways to do it and still respect your new IPs. And one of the reasons I think the Switch has been very, very successful is the Switch, like, they did ARMS. During the Wii U, they did Splatoon, which took off. During Nintendo's got to remember that you sometimes you just got to let your junior devs cook. Sometimes you just got to let them cook, man, and have some faith in them.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
Like, how would the GameCube have fared? I have to ask the question: how would it have fared if we would have had Dinosaur Planet and Star Fox Assault? How would it have fared if we would have had an actual goddamn 2D Mario game on there? Much better, by the way, I promise you. And then also had the weird window washer game that was something else. It was, and even had a Mario 64-esque Mario game that people wanted. How would it have done if it would have had a traditional Kirby platformer and the air ride star thing? Um, how would it have done if it would have had a Donkey Kong Country game, and then the bongo game could have been something different? Like, you could have done like Tiki Bongo or something like that. I don't fucking know. But that was not something to jam into Donkey Kong. This was Dinosaur Planet was not something to jam Star Fox into. It's like, although again, the reason for that. So Barry Carenza, who awesome dude, he told me that apparently there was some copyright issues with that, and so if Nintendo would have done that, if Nintendo basically would have done the Star Fox and would let them do the Star Fox, they could have got access to the Star Fox rights somehow or something like that. And so, in order
Okay.
to preserve Star Fox's intellectual property, um, or no, in order to preserve Dinosaur Planet's potential intellectual property, they put Star Fox on it. That's what happened. Okay, got the story. Sorry, Drake is starting to catch that a little bit. So
You're good. You're good. You're good.
But I don't know. What do you think about that? What do you think about that fucking old man ramble I just threw out there?
I mean, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. Something that you mentioned too that I completely agree with is you mentioned how, like, growing up in gaming, like, things they wouldn't get away with a lot of the things today that they would back then.
No way.
I think but I don't know, because if you look at stuff like, I mean, we still have some of the stuff. Like one franchise that comes to mind is Dead or Alive, where they're in bikinis and
Is
the graphics
that
and
still around?
yeah, I believe. Hold on, I just had it up right here.
Holy
The
shit.
last one, the latest release was March 1st, 2019. Dead or Alive 6. So I mean,
Oh
and they
my
have stuff
god.
like extreme beach volleyball.
No, that's
You know
the
what I
one
mean?
that
Because
I
then
thought I saw that and I'm just like, that's so fucking creepy. Like I felt
so I'm just
creepy
saying,
just
like,
watching that.
yeah, I think you have that 90s handheld gamer on Twitter. He's been talking a lot about this, like this whole like woke versus anti-woke movement in gaming that's
I'm
going
so
on right now.
fucking over it, man.
I agree. I'm 100% with you.
I'm so
But
fucking over it.
I want to bring up Stellar Blade. Obviously, there's a huge discourse on it.
Sure.
Whatever, however you feel about it. But it's like, this isn't new in gaming.
No.
None of what we're seeing is new, because you bring up Dead or Alive like I have. The first one was in the 90s. You know what I mean? And it's a popular friend. 1996 was the first one to come out. And they're still doing stuff like this in 2024. Like, so when you said like, oh, these things that we wouldn't be able to get away with these things in today's, modern landscape, it's like, I think we would. My personal opinion. It was we kind of are, like with Stellar Blade. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
whatever, however
yeah,
your
I guess
feelings
that's.
are on it.
I guess that's true. Yeah, I mean, my feelings of Stellar Blade is it looks like a perfectly fine Bayonetta clone. I'm sure
Oh,
that is.
100%.
Yeah. Um, looks like a perfectly fine Bayonetta clone. It looks good. My understanding is, I guess, I guess my question with the whole Stellar Blade thing, and it was my question when it popped off, is like, what are we doing here? What are we talking about? Like, why is this?
Right.
Why is a couple of fucking inches of fabric this much of a goddamn issue?
I
Like,
didn't see anybody say anything about this with Bayonetta.
no. Well,
At least, to this degree, right?
we didn't have a giant ass grifter show up into space all of a sudden, like a fucking meteor hitting the space. Like, to be
Yeah.
quite frank, I don't know. Part of it is like, I'm gonna be honest. Part of it is the weird little fat faced chibi avatar, and part of it is the name Grums. But every time I see that person, like, I just don't want to see that person. Like, that person just really irritates me. And it's not even their content. Like, yeah, I wish I could be so fair. It's like, I don't like your weird avatar. I don't like your name Grums. It sounds like you've rolled in something nasty. And I don't like the fact that you're in here tearing my fucking space apart for no goddamn reason over the pettiest shit. I'm sick of
Yeah,
it. I'm
it's
done with this.
I know. I don't. I hate to be, like the Simpsons old man screaming at the cloud, stuff like that.
I
But
love it. I do it all the time.
hold on. I want to just say, I think you and my brother would get along really, really well. Just talking to you right now,
Yeah.
and especially when you were on my podcast, like a month ago. Like, after that discussion, I was like, God, I think you would get along really well with my brother. And I think we're gonna have to try to arrange. Maybe I'll do another Babylon cast, and I'll have to have
Fuck
you
yeah.
on, and the three of us could just have a really good chat. But anyway, it's just gaming. It's just so I hate. It's just toxic. Like, everywhere you go, like, look at all the discourse right now with Paper Mario. Well, it's not 60 frames per second. So fucking what? The game looks amazing. They
I
did an
still
overhaul.
So I'm a PC gamer and I still don't get the fucking 60 frames per second thing. I don't get it. Like, I don't
Dude.
understand what why this is such a holy grail. Like, I didn't, again, perfectly capable of playing all kinds of games at 60 FPS. And at the bottom line is only only hardcore gamer weirdos, I mean the hardcorest of the hardcore gamer weirdos, care about
Yeah.
things like teraflops and FPS and all this other
Oh my
fucking
god.
dumb, weird fucking shit. And it's the meme. It's the meme. Me and OJ were having a laugh about last time when he was on. And basically, I put this meme up, and a it's a woman talking to a GameStop employee, and the GameStop employee is
Okay.
like, "But the Switch doesn't have 180 teraflops with 890 refresh rate and 60 FPS and 4K. Lady's like, sir, I don't understand a thing you just said. I just want to play Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Like, that's, people just want to play video games, man. People just
Exact,
want to
dude.
play games. They don't give a fuck about this.
For real,
You're a
dude.
dork. You're a tech dork. And
Yeah.
that's fine.
So
And that's fine. But that's not what the you have overshot the market so much with 60 frames per second. Most people, 30 frames per second is fucking good enough. It's good enough.
yes.
Um,
Yeah. And half the time most games don't even hit 60 frames anyway.
So yeah, I mean, you're right. There is a general toxicity. Like, there's always been that, like, that hardcore contingent that just wants to gatekeep the entire space behind a fucking tech wall, and that's fine. Those people have always been there. But what I'm noticing lately is that every single fucking game, has some kind of a controversy. Whether it's now, and again, by the way, and can we talk about the fact that the games are $70 now? Can we talk about the fact that every fucking game has a goddamn content roadmap where they want to sell it for 180, 190 fucking dollars for the game? There are so many goddamn
Oh,
there's so many goddamn actual real issues. Can we talk about the fact that Ubisoft is a fucking sexual harassment factory? There, I said it.
yes. Yes.
There are so many more issues with these game companies than whatever the fuck this is lately. Um, than 2 inches of fucking fabric. Oh, you're missing 2 inches of crotch, and
Yeah.
there's a black samurai. Like,
Yeah, right. Who cares, dude?
like
Like,
Jesus Christ, it's a fucking video game.
yeah, it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not real.
Apparently, apparently.
Dude, I
And,
know.
and by the way,
It,
so
go
yeah, I
on.
see some people in the chat, and we're gonna get to your chat. We're gonna get to your chats here very short. I'm gonna read every one of them. They're super chats. We read them for free. You don't need to pay shit. And so I'm just gonna throw this out there, and not try to piss anybody off, but just gonna throw this out there. In terms of this, historical accuracy thing. So I didn't see this during Samurai Warriors, when Samurai Warriors, a Japanese studio, put Yasuke in the game. I didn't see this when you were a Welshman in the Caribbean being a pirate. I didn't see this. I didn't see this when it turns out Leonardo da Vinci didn't create weapons for Enzio Auditore, the first Assassin's Creed assassin. It turns out you can't alter time with a magic apple. So we're rolling out a historical accuracy argument because a black samurai is in the game, when nobody ever gave a shit about any of this before.
Yeah.
That leads me to believe, I can't help but think, not again, if this is not the case, let it fly. But I can't help but think, but there's a very specific reason why you decided to en masse complain about this. Just gonna throw that out there. It seems to me that the only reason this is a controversy is because we are dealing with a black samurai.
100%. 100%. That's the whole time
And
you were talking about all that. That's exactly what I was thinking. Is they are
I
racist
fucking hate
and
that.
yeah. Oh, dude, it's so stupid.
Like, by the way, if you go read up on the history, like, by the way, guys, yeah, turns out, yeah, personal retainer of Nobunaga. He absolutely, in terms of what a retainer is in a samurai, y'all don't seem to fucking know what a retainer is. Absolutely would have been considered a samurai. Absolutely would have been considered a samurai. So there's that. First and foremost, you're wrong. And second of all, you're loudly wrong, specifically on one tiny minor issue that has never popped up in the Assassin's Creed. This has never been a controversy before, but all of a sudden it's a controversy. And so what it is you don't give a fuck about historical accuracy. I'm just going to say that. You don't. That's
Yeah.
not what you care about. What you care about is there is DEI in the game, and I understand that you don't like DEI. So I wish we could just be more honest about this. I wish you could just say, hey, I'm anti DEI in gaming, and I don't like that, and I think that it doesn't belong here. And then we could actually deal with your real fucking position, and we could debate that. Now, I would disagree with that. Um, my question for any game, whether it's Stellar Blade or whether it's Assassin's Creed Shadows, is what does the developer want to do? Is this the
Right.
developer's actual division? Is this their actual
Yeah.
vision? Since it ended up in the game, whether it's DEI or not, I'm going to have to assume this was their vision. And if they want to say otherwise, if they want to publicly state otherwise, then do so. And then we can deal with that. So if you were made to put a black samurai and a female shinobi in your game, then we can talk about that. But I'm not getting that that's the thing. I think what's happening is I think these game studios are diversifying due to the massive influx of popularity in gaming. And I think
Yep.
this is resulting in more diversity in the games. I don't think that there's some conspiracy to put this stuff in games. I think this is a natural byproduct of an industry popularizing and becoming the number one entertainment medium in the world. But I mean, am I off base here? What do you think, Andy? Or is this off
No,
base?
you're completely hitting the nail right on, or yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. The nail right on the head. Like it's just these idiot people out there, that just want things to stay the same as that always has been. These are people that have probably been playing games since they were kids, and they've seen things a certain way, and they just wanted to stay a certain way. And maybe it's how they were raised. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't see a reason why anybody honestly would be mad about DEI in video gaming. I don't understand why they'd be mad about it anywhere. It's just a video game, like we just talked
Yeah.
about. The only people that are truly upset about this are just, like I said, racist, sexist, homophobic, bigots who are literally nobody.
Well, I
I
think
don't know.
I think for a lot of them, I think that's behind a lot of it for sure.
Oh,
But if
absolutely.
I'm trying to steel man, I mean, I always try to do that. There seems to be a perception that DEI, and you'll hear the word BlackRock hurled around like these fucking people even know a goddamn thing about how venture capitalism works. Um, they don't. So oh yeah, you fucking say hi to BlackRock for me. It's like, well, show me a company BlackRock doesn't have. So show me a successful corporation that BlackRock doesn't have a hand in. And
Yeah.
if you think that fucking BlackRock CEO is like there in Ubisoft studio saying, hey, you want us to stay invested? Hey, you want us to stay invested? Better put a black guy in the game. Hey,
Yeah.
you want to stay invested? What you better put you better put a trans person in a wheelchair in your game. Otherwise, there's no money for you. We're gonna pull out. You're gonna pull out if you
Oh
don't
my
get that
god,
in
I
there. You're
know.
gonna pull the fuck up.
I know, dude.
Like
It's
that's
insane.
not. I get
Yeah.
that's not happening. That's not happening. That is absolutely not
All
happening.
they care about is profit, the money coming in. And if they think that, including a black character is gonna see an uprise in price, like not pricing, but like in profit, they're gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like they don't
Yeah.
care one way or the other. They're just there for one reason. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about everyone watching this stream right now. All they
Sure.
care about is what's in our pockets. They want our money. So they're
And
going to hop on, trends that they feel are uprising, and which personally I think DEI in gaming is a trend that should continue to grow and be
okay.
popularized and stuff like that. I think it's fantastic. And so if that's the way the market's going to keep going, then fuck yeah, dude, by all means. But for people to sit there and be like, oh, say hi to BlackRock for me, like they're dumb because like you just said, they're not in there telling them to do this.
Yeah, I literally had a guy be like, "Oh, well, yeah, you got woke, Sue. You got fucking woke. Say hi to BlackRock for me." And it's just like, bro, that's
Oh
not how
god.
fucking venture capitalism works. Those guys don't give a fuck. Those guys aren't in the fucking
Yeah.
game studio. They're looking at their numbers and they're watching their numbers go up or they're watching their numbers
Yeah.
go down, and they sell their stock based on that. Oh, well,
100%.
BlackRock pushes DEI initiative. DEI, switch E for I, it means die. Calm down. Calm down, bro. Go get a pop or something, man. Like, no,
Yeah.
that's not how this works. There,
Oh,
the DEI initiative isn't something, and again, I'm in executive management, guys. Okay, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. The DEI initiatives are things that you can. So there's indexes for that, right? And what it is it's part of a portfolio to show, hey, this is our company. This is where we were 5 years ago. This is where we're at now. And it's not necessarily not necessarily doing it for a moneyed incentive. What you're doing it is because it has become an incredibly competitive field to attract quality talent to your companies. And one of the things that your employees want to see is they want to see a diverse workforce. This is what Mark Cuban was talking about when he was kind of going over all of this. And he was talking about it is a hiring advantage to have some of these initiatives in order to attract your cream of the crop talent, that top 5% of talent. They want to see these initiatives. It's far more for that than, oh, your BlackRock's going to dump some money. BlackRock already is in your fucking company. I promise you. Like, show me a fucking company BlackRock's not a part of. That is literally not how this works. BlackRock's going to be there. If you're making money, BlackRock's going to be there whether you want them to be or not. They just are. And what are you going to do as a capitalist? Are you going to turn down BlackRock's money? No, you're not. So this is, I don't know where they come in. I don't know what you think you know about BlackRock or State Street or any of these other companies. I promise you, it's not whatever weird fucking anemic narrative is going on in your head, guy.
Yeah. Oh,
I promise it's not. Yeah, that's what the DEI initiatives are actually about. It's more hiring than any kind of monetary incentive, guys. It just is. It's not like BlackRock or fucking the U.S. government's waiting there cutting a check for you if you tick a box on a quota. Like that's not what's happening. Contrary to what a lot of people are telling y'all, that's not what's happening. It's not. Anyway, so there, I've made some fucking friends today. So
fuck them. That's what I gotta say. I don't fucking care.
I don't.
They're
either.
stupid.
I don't care either, dude. Because if I cared, I'd be trying to monetize and don't give a shit. Don't give a shit. This is never going to be monetized. I'm sticking to my guns. Like, no matter how big or small this channel, how big this channel gets, no matter how small as it stays, never fucking monetizing. It's I have a job. I have an actual job, and this is for fun. And so
exactly,
if anybody if they have a problem with it, like I told the bald potato man way back with the God, that was a whole thing. So there was this human potato who was like screeching at the top of his lungs about Starfield, right? And I said, hey, if you want to come on it, like, rather than just be fucking freaking out here, if you want to talk about this, you can come on and talk about this.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he did. He just didn't go on my show. I don't think he was like, he's ducking too. This guy's got like 300,000 subs. Like, he's not ducking shit. He just didn't come on the fucking. Yeah. He didn't come on my tiny show. So it's nothing. No shade there. But rather than like get bright red and scream about pronouns in Starfield, maybe talk it out, bud. Like, maybe talk it out with somebody who disagrees with you, and see if you guys can't find some common ground there. Because I bet you can. I bet we can figure this out. I bet I could be your counselor, and I bet we can figure this out. That's all I'm going to say.
Dude, don't even get me started, because it's like, why does it affect you? How does it affect you, I should say? Why is it a problem? To whom does this affect? Like, I don't understand. When I played Starfield, because I was excited for it. I didn't like it, but when I played it and I was creating my character and I saw the pronoun thing, I just selected my personal pronouns or the character I was creating.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
it's just
that's it.
and again,
That's all it did.
and exactly it's a role play option.
Yeah,
Like
that's all it was, dude. Like,
you're mad about more role play options.
yeah,
More
I'll never understand it. I family members of mine get so worked up, and like people I work with, and I'm just like, why? Why does it bother you?
so
What is
so let me try to steal.
honestly, that's we could, dude. We could go on a tangent. There's so many other topics that we could talk about that could just,
Oh, sure.
completely derail from what we're talking about right now. That I just don't really feel like getting into because I have to get going here soon.
Oh,
But
okay.
like, oh my god, dude, there I could go on for hours.
Oh, yeah, and again, if you've seen some of my Liquored Up Live timestamps, you'll know that happens.
Yeah,
But yeah, if you and by the way, yeah, again, these go as long as they need to or as short as they need to. So if you do have to go, OJ had to head out because he had a screaming kid a couple of nights ago. So he had to duck out about the 2 hour 40 minute mark.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I almost I was actually gonna I'm glad you ended up running a little late because I wasn't able to get down here to get set up in my basement until like 15 minutes before we were supposed to go live because I was helping my wife with our child trying to get, her down and stuff like that. So that's funny.
well, let's get to these super chats. Let's see here. So Chill
Yeah,
One Up
let's
says,
do it.
"What up, guys? What's going on? Hey, what's going on, buddy?" Larry David, ooh, that's good whiskey. Yes. Yes, that I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna look that. How is that whiskey, by the way, buddy?
Oh, it was great. It's
I,
fantastic. Yeah,
I'm very excited. I got it written down. I'm definitely gonna buy a bottle for sure. Bourbon's
yeah.
my favorite. Bourbon's my absolute favorite, as people longtime viewers know. Um, and then he says, Zayum, what's going on, Shell Collects? Glad you're here. I'll just have some Modelas. Nice. Okay. Yep, Modella's fun. You have a lot of fun on that. You have a lot of fun on that. And Traverse City is in Michigan, Larry David said. I'll take your word for
Yeah,
it. Yeah. Okay.
it is. I'm looking at the back of the bottle.
And AndyB greeting everybody.
Yep, yep. I was keeping up a little bit while
No,
we were having
I
conversation.
appreciate that, man. I definitely appreciate that because I forget it's fucking there until it's time to read it. I need to do better, but I'm old. I'm slowly learning, guys. How's it going, guys? Black Kool-Aid says, "How's it going, Black Kool-Aid? What's up, buddy?"
One of my best friends. One of my best friends.
Oh yeah, he was on the podcast with us. Yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
we're gonna have to get you on here, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get you popped on here. Fuck yeah. Um, I love SFA. SFA is best. And Air Ride too. Laugh out loud. Yeah, yeah. I got hands for everybody on. Yeah, Air Ride too. Yeah, cold, very cold. Ooh, yeah, you were saying it was really cold in where you're at right now. The closest thing to 2D Mario was Yoshi's Story on the N64. Yeah, and what a fucking, what a fucking thing that was, Keithius. Ew. Yeah. LOL, defend Andy. Yeah, the chat. Yeah, this was my era. Yeah, yeah. Chad is absolutely. Yeah, I'm the heel. I'm definitely the heel on this issue. Every fucking night, I'm the heel on this issue. When this issue comes up. Yeah, the transition from N64 to GameCube was insane. I'm so happy to have experienced the transition because it was truly amazing. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, I mean, clunky. That might actually have been the biggest. Well, the 3D leap was probably the biggest leap, but in terms of finally perfecting that 3D gameplay, that was something. It's a you had to be there experience. um,
That would make me giggle earlier.
yeah, yeah, it just works. Just had to be there, Sue. You just had to be there. What are sales? So let's see. You're 100% correct. That he got. I was able to experience both the PS2 and the GameCube. Definitely enjoyed both. The Xbox, I only saw it as an adult console. Okay. Oh, Brooke Barnes is in the house. What's going on, Brooke? Welcome in. Always glad to see you. I've got a game for us this weekend that I'm going to stream. So you were asking about my streaming. I got a game. I'm getting the mod list finalized, and we're going to stream it. Inferno Fox says, "Hey, all. Hope y'all doing well. Hey, thanks for stopping in, buddy. What's going on, man? We got to get your ass back on here too soon. Yeah, hell yeah. And then Chill Collects, hey, Inferno Fox. Hope you're doing well. Chill. You as well, Fox. Everybody playing nice in the chat. You love to see it. Sup, my dudes. Then everybody saying, "Hey, was Upper Nimbus? Welcome in, buddy. I appreciate you as always." Then everybody greeting each other. Yep. Hope everybody's having a great night. Definitely daytime for me. Definitely Andy on my second beer. Hell yeah. I'm on about my third cup of whiskey. So yeah, awesome. That's what are weekends for, right? Well, with Assassin's Creed RN, it's insane. Yeah, and we talked a little bit about that, but yeah, absolutely fucking disappointing. It's disappointing, is what it is. Um, then they got 60 frames per second is nice, but 30 frames per second still runs for me personally. As long as the game is fun and plays well, that's all that really matters. Runs well for me. Yeah. Yeah, and again, like your average soccer mom that's buying Mario Kart for her kids doesn't give a fuck about any of that. Like, does the
Yeah.
gameplay good or not? Like, stop overshooting the fucking market with both graphics and frames per second, with all of it. Like, Sony and Microsoft have both done that. Nimbus, like both the two systems, the Series X and the PlayStation 5, are a fucking clinic in overshooting the market and the
Oh
dangers of
yeah.
that. Like, it's just what they're offering, the diminishing returns of graphics and tech, the diminishing returns. Like, what is the big jump between this gen and last gen? Really? Honestly. Genuine question.
I honestly, to be honest, I have a Series X. My wife bought it for me for my birthday
Yeah.
last year for Starfield, and that's the only game that I've really played on it besides like my old catalog of games. Because I used to have Game Pass for a long time, but I stopped.
Stop.
I don't see a point anymore, dude. Like I do not touch that console. I think if I had a PS5, I'd probably play more games, with like Final Fantasy and
I want
stuff
to
like
play
that.
Rebirth. I want to play
But
Rebirth bad.
I do too, and I want to play 16. Like I feel like
Yeah.
16's really, really good, and I'm really missing out on that considering I am a huge Final Fantasy fan. But I think the switch to the Switch successor is going to be a legitimate console generational leap that we have been missing.
I hope
But I
so.
think we should have a conversation about that on another time and like on another show because
Yeah.
I am gonna after you finish up here in a minute, I'm gonna take off.
No, totally get that, man. 100%. Sorry for the sporadic appearance tonight. Migraines aren't fun. Hey, dude, yeah, nobody owes me shit. If you're not feeling good, you can always catch it later. You can not catch it at all, man. Inferno Fox, you're always here. You're always grinding in here in the chat and being a great team player. Yeah, no, there is no shame at all. None, man. Take care of yourself. Yeah, nobody likes migraines, as AndyB said. Migraines are the worst. And then he says, "Hey Fox, everybody, goddamn typos. Hope you feel better soon. Me too, Fox. Hope you feel better soon." Cho collects is exactly. Games are meant to be fun. They are games. Keithia says Ubisoft games are a joke. That is true. True. Especially when it comes
They're
to pricing.
terrible these days.
Yes. Yeah, stop making me defend Ubisoft. Like, geez. Uh, yeah, $130 for day one. 1 month later, 30% off. 2 months later, 50% off. Black Friday, 80% off. Yeah, that's why you just starve the beast. You starve the AAA beast. That's what we do. That's what we should do. And then, like Andy says, exactly. Definitely waiting until it's 80% off. LOL. For collectors, crossing my fingers. Upper Nimbus says, I'll wait till it's 120% off. Yeah, see, and listen to my chat right there. We don't like Ubisoft. Nobody here likes Ubisoft. Nobody here thinks that fucking game's going to be good. We just also don't like people being racist. That's or
Yeah.
talking about shit they have no clue what they're talking about. That's the main thing. And again, like if anybody feels otherwise, if you're like, hey, I'm not a racist, I'm not calling anybody a racist specifically, but if you would like to come on, I would love to talk to somebody who thinks this is a big deal. I would love to talk to you. Just to try to talk it out. Just try to talk it out, man. Because I think there's other issues at play here, but I don't think anybody's going to come on with that position because I think if we drill down on it, it's going to go places that you maybe don't even understand about yourself. And that's hard to do. That's the thing. If you really are mad about a black samurai in Assassin's Creed game, I don't think when we drill down on that, I don't think it's going to go to places that you like, even yourself. I'm just going to throw that out there. But I'm willing to do it. Anybody who wants to come on and talk to me, let's do it. Waiting for the huge price drop soon. Then laugh my ass off, Zoo. Yeah, my impressions. Maybe Sunday. Laugh out loud. New deal start on Sunday. So looking forward to what they have in store for the week coming up. Chill collects as a Starfield coming to PS5. LOL. It could. I mean, who fucking knows with Microsoft and how they fucking do things. And then Brooke Barnes is, so I pre-ordered both Paper Mario Thousand Year Door and Luigi's Mansion 2 HD from Walmart, and they canceled Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, but not Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Why is this happening? Stock issues. So apparently, Nintendo was not aware of the demand, and that will be corrected. They'll produce more. So don't worry about that, Brooke. You will be able to get one, I promise you.
So another thing that I saw real quick about that, and then I'm going to take off. So I'm sure probably you and myself included, and probably everyone else in the chat, we all follow Stealth 40K on Twitter.
Yes.
He apparently got an email, or he posted about it, saying like someone who works for one of those chains just straight up said that Nintendo only wants to sell them like in store as well. So like Thousand Year Door, for example, like Walmart for some reason canceled the pre-orders because they want everyone to have a chance to go to the store and buy it. They don't want it to be shipped from like online and stuff like that. I don't exactly know, how true that is. If I can pull up the tweet, that'd actually be a wonderful thing as well.
Yeah,
so let me see if I can find that really quick. Because I was just reading that earlier today. And I thought that was super interesting because I was like, wait, what? Why would they do that?
Because they're fucking Nintendo. That's why. But
yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was just Nintendo being Nintendo, because that's what they always do.
Yeah, because Nintendo, it's that simple. Like, they're such a weird company. I love them. I have a love-hate relationship with them, but they're such a weird fucking company. But no, trust me. Yeah, it's not like a limited release, anything like that. Yeah, no, not from what I'm hearing. Yeah, you should be able to get it. All right. Well, I think that's everything. I guess I always like to see. Do you have any final questions for me before I ask my final question for you, buddy?
No, I've got nothing.
Sounds good. We'll definitely have to do this again. And my last question for you is, one more came in. I don't believe it's true Target is sending out their stock of the game. Yeah, it's not a limited release. It's just that there's some weird stock issues going on. So, Andy, I guess my last question for you is, did you have fun?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm super stoked. The first time you ever reached out to me to do this, I was like, yes, let's do it. This is something that I've always really loved doing, is just podcasting and talking and just bullshitting. I just don't have a lot of time to do it. That's why I stopped doing it years ago and mainly just focus on, just making quick 10 to 15 minute YouTube videos. But thank you so much for reaching out to me and asking me to be on this. I literally, just one of my favorite things in the world. I love talking about video games.
No, me too. And anytime, homie. Like I said, and that's the thing. Like I see, and to be a truly successful podcast, you've got to be able to keep a schedule. And there is no fucking set schedule for these. If me and somebody have something to talk about live, we'll do it. If we don't, we won't. The fuck you've seen it where I'll go a month with nothing, and then all of a sudden there'll be like 3. Like it's gonna get ready to happen. Yeah. Quick's coming on, I think Sunday. And then I might have something lined up Saturday. And then there'll be another like fucking 2 weeks with nothing. Like these guys can tell you, it's frustrating as fuck being a Liquored Up Live fan. But guys, there's a reason for that. I don't do it because I'm a spiteful old bastard. I do it because I got a lot of shit going on in real life, man. It's the same reason why you haven't got a fucking actual real video out of me. And in fucking 2 months now.
Yeah.
Great time, guys. Brooke says, I'm sorry I didn't hear your answer. My question, will you please answer it again? Yeah. There's some stock issues going on. Nintendo did not my understanding is Nintendo didn't anticipate the demand correctly. Just like with Metroid Prime. There will be more stock. It's not a limited release. So please don't worry that you won't be able to get Paper Mario. Gonna be plenty of them. So
yeah.
Yeah, just what I'm hearing through the grapevine and what people much more in the know than I have heard.
So hold on, really quick. I did find.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes, I found the tweet that I was referencing. So this person, it was Wario64, talking about how Nintendo was canceling pre-orders. And then he put, it looks like Walmart maybe canceling pre-orders for Mario 1,000 Year Door. I just got this email, and the email says, "Hi, blank person. We know you were looking forward to purchasing Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door on Nintendo Switch Online. At this time, Nintendo will only be offering this item in stores. While your pre-order was canceled, we expect to have this item in store on its release day, May 23rd, 2024. And they also gave them $25 off their next purchase for any online order. So it looks like Walmart is only doing in person and is not offering online.
Okay.
So
good to know. So, Brooke, if you go to your local Walmart, they should have them. I'd call first.
Yes.
But it's always a good rule of thumb with Walmart. But it looks like you'll be able to get it in store there. They're just not going to ship it out for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't know. It might. Maybe it is like you said. It might just be the fact that they didn't have enough copies, and they were like, "Hey, we're sending every store this many copies. Don't let people buy it online." They were like, "Okay." So I mean, whatever.
Yeah, for sure. So, all righty, well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap the stream up. I love all you guys. Andy, thanks for coming on. If you want to stick around for just a minute or so, just to do a quick denouement, if you can.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go ahead and end the live stream here. But love you all. Get the fuck out of here and enjoy your weekend.
Bye.